Good evening. It's great to be with you this evening. We'll have a few more people joining us over the next couple of minutes. Uh, Nice summer evening. We're getting warm back up for for August 7th class. If this is your first time doing a debrief, would you go to the chat and put in a one, just so I can see if anybody's here for the very first time doing a debrief? Just put a one in the chat. That'd be really helpful for me to know. And if there's any way that you can turn on your video, that would also be really, really helpful. So I'd like to be able to see everybody that's with us tonight. I don't have any ones in the chat. Has everybody been here before? Okay, then we get to go a little bit different direction. This is fun. This is your coaching session. Some of the things we don't need to cover a second time. Quick review. We are going to measure habits of thinking. These are not you, but they are your habits. The question is, you and I are going to look at them. When do you surrender your free will to them and let them run your day? That's really the question. Now, let's have some fun with this. I want to just walk through some examples for you to think about. I want you to think of an area in your life where it's really hard to do it. And the energy behind it is just have to, need to, should, must. You find it boring, mundane, burdensome, repetitive, hard. What falls into that category for you? Anybody want to just come off mute? We've got a small enough group, we could just all be off mute if you want to. What falls into that category for you, Linda? Want to come off mute?
Anything exercise besides walking.
Okay. What would that be, like bike riding or
Well, arm exercises, treadmill,
Mhm.
weights.
Pilates, yoga?
Yeah,
Okay,
yoga. Yeah, yeah. I
great.
can do the walking. I've got that down pat, but anything besides that, I'm having a struggle.
So your best friend calls you up and says, let's go to this new hot yoga class. Could you hear the thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, I don't want to.
What we want to do when we're going through this assessment is to find out where that's coming from so we can begin to shift out of it. Okay, I'll give you another example. Anybody that's had this experience, I've shared this before in a debrief, but I'd love to hear from you. You're in a grocery store and you are going through the frozen food section. You get to the ice cream section, and somehow that ice cream just makes its way into your cart. Anybody been here?
I feel like Krista should come off mute right now.
Who should?
Krista,
Krista. Oh, okay.
there's a reason.
Hello.
Hello. Have you been in the grocery store and had one of those moments? Oops, she just went back on mute.
She's currently in the grocery store right now, Dave.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay. Help her get off mute. There we go. Don't touch
Hi.
anything.
Okay. No, I I've been I was a health coach and stuff for 10 years, so I learned a lot along the way with Optavia. So I know that if you leave from the grocery store or something, then that's where, and you bring it in your home, that's where it all can go to down
Yeah,
the tube. So anyway, so yeah, no, I learned that one a long time ago. So I don't
I won't ask you to
I
ask
don't
that.
struggle too much. I do have my favorite vices though,
Okay.
but
I,
I
I won't ask you. I'll just ask everybody.
yeah.
Okay, so we've all had that moment. Have we still bought it anyway? Brought it home, and then we're sitting there watching our favorite Netflix show or Prime Video, and it's 8 o'clock, and we just have this desire for ice cream, or maybe it's chips, or maybe it's chocolate covered almonds, and we're now in a battle. And chances are we go into the kitchen, we're not going to do it, we're going to do it, we're not going to do it. We're playing this game with ourselves. And then we just try to play like it's not saying anything to us. Well, if it's talking us into doing it, that's an unhealthy habit of thinking. If it's trying to save us from doing it, that's your true self. And sometimes we suppress our true self and let our habit of thinking get in the cupboard, pull it out. We take those chocolate covered almonds, we pour a little bowl. We're not going to eat too many, so we pour a bowl and then maybe just a little bit more, okay? And then you got this. Then you go sit down on television. You're just going to have one or two, and before you know it, the whole thing's empty. And then the next morning, you're just beating yourself up because you did something like this. This is how we live. These habits of thinking are intertwined in everything we do. We get up in the morning. Do we want to leap out of bed and take life on, or do we just want to stay there a little bit longer? What is going on in our head? Sometimes we want to play like it's not there. We just want to quiet it. Anybody been here? Yeah. You ever wake up and you just feel discouraged, like nothing seems to be working right? Things keep happening differently than we want them to. You just wish it could be easier, at least for a day. Just give me one day. And we're in that space. This is why Habit Finder is so important to the journey, because it's foundational to everything. We have these habits of thinking, and when we understand how they develop, we've had trauma in our life. That's anytime something happens that the brain wasn't expecting. So we call it a trauma trigger, a stress response. Most of those are from our life, but there are a few of them from our predecessors, are epigenetically passed down, and a thought process starts to develop in what's called the brain stem, goes up in the diencephalon into the limbic brain, into the cortex. It's just bouncing off of these trauma triggers. It's being shaped. That habit of thinking is being shaped by those traumatic experiences from our life. We know when it comes out, we're unaware of 90% of them, but they crash down on us like a tsunami. If we've been on this health journey for a while, we're still struggling. Oh, we want to double down, starting tonight and then in August on these habits of thinking. I'm going to open them up section at a time, but I want this to be very interactive. I want you to ask questions about your assessment while I'm going through the measurements. If we only get through one or two sections, that's okay. That's okay, because you've all been here before. So let's make this really a meaningful night if we can. So I'm going to share this assessment. We're going to go to this first section called mental creation. These thoughts exist only in our mind. We're having thoughts in our mind about thinking. What are my thoughts about what is my motivation? How will I approach it? My vision for what should be done? Am I open to ideas? This isn't in the tangible world. It's just thoughts in my mind. It's thinking about thinking. And this is where our resistance comes from. If you want to go to your assessment, go to habitfinder.com, habitfinderhealth.com, sorry, habitfinderhealth.com. Top right-hand side of the page, just log on. And then you can click on your results, pull up your latest results that have a score of 50% or higher. Let's just make sure everybody's got theirs up. Now, if you're driving, Krista, that's going to be kind of tough, but you can listen to this. What we want to do is pull from your assessment. I'd like to know if there's anyone here that has self-directed over here in obligation. Could you just raise your hand? Oh, this is going to take some courage tonight. Anybody have this measurement self-directed over here into obligation? Everybody's balanced? Guess we don't need to talk about that one. Suzanne, are you over here in obligation?
Suzanne is
Uh,
unbalanced. I'll say it.
yes, I am. Thanks, Chris. I am
Okay.
unbalanced. Well, let me just double check which one was my first. Okay. The first time I took it, which was April of a year ago, I was going into obligation. And the
Mhm.
second time I took it, I was in the middle of self-directed, which is great, but that was last September. And I noticed a whole bunch of things shifted around. Um, some got into red zones that weren't there before, and this one went into the green. But I do feel obligation on things, and I really work hard to be aware of it. But
Mhm. So if we're in self-directed, just
yeah,
read, you get to read the definition. It's so fun because the ideal habit is right here. This is your true voice. Awaken and embrace it. Your primary motivation for becoming and staying healthy can come from within, self-directed. When you listen to this habit, you'll do the next right thing for the right reason because you want to, get to, and choose to. You can take charge of your health. That's a beautiful measurement to have green. And you can read what happens when it's an obligation that have to, need to, should, must, like dragging around a heavy backpack full of bricks. So everybody just take a look at your assessment, see where you are in this measurement. Somebody may be over here in appearances where the primary motivation for doing something is to look good. That would be an interesting thing to explore. Now, Suzanne, since I have you here, you're looking at your latest graph from September. Is there anything in this section that jumps out orange or red for you?
coachable. I'm in stuck really bad, and I'm really surprised.
Anything else that's out of balance?
Intentional goes into the orange of fantastical,
Okay.
and then disengaged is excellence is going just into the yellow for disengaged.
Okay. It's not too serious. Okay. Fantastical and coachable are really tied together. If I shared with the math, you would see they're just the inverse of one another, which I won't go into because I don't want to bore you with Cantor's transfinite calculus. But it's very interesting that fantastical, we're seeing, are we over focused on vivid visualization? And coachable, are we over focused on being frustrated when someone questions our vision?
Hmm.
Are we at a risk of having even a fantastical vision? And how resistant are we to other people's ideas that are trying to help us? Most of you will have intentional orange or red. That's like 90%. Great thing to explore. Do we ever want life to be easier and less stressful? Now, I've said that to everybody before. We go, yeah. Well, in the words of Bob Newhart, stop it. Stop it. All you're going to do is create expectations and keep being disappointed when life shows up differently than you want it to. It doesn't work. There's no such thing as ease and less stress on this planet. You can't go off the radar screen here, but we can choose to use this gift constructively to get an inspired idea, an intuitive impression, a creative solution that will ignite our passion, passion that drives our actions. It can be an enormous gift. And sometimes when we're in fantasy with it, stuck says, that's just, I'm stuck doing that. So that's one piece of stuck. That's why I went through this first. So, Suzanne, take a look at how you use your vivid visualization. Are you ever racing ahead and creating that hopeful feeling and then having it dashed by reality? Or do you ever go into catastrophe and play out worst case scenarios? If you do, your stuck measurement may have something to do with being stuck using this gift destructively. That's the first part of stuck. Second part of stuck. There's something that I fear. Now, you're a coach. I think everybody here tonight is a coach. If I said edge 30, How long is your streak?
I keep going back in and filling it in because I keep forgetting to do it for. I have a streak of forgetting and then going back and filling it in.
Okay. That'd be a great thing for number three, which I'll jump there really quickly, is being in resistance to someone trying to control you. And that edge, accountability, has got a little bit of that feel to it for someone who's got a stuck measurement. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this stuff anyway. Why do I need to report this? You're not reporting it for anybody but yourself. It's a self-reporting tool just to help hold you
And
accountable.
I love the little self-reporting tool. I love being able to go and go click, click, click.
Okay.
It,
And if that doesn't bother you at all, then where you're going to want to look is fear. What's your greatest fear in your business?
do you want me to answer that right now? Or can I just think about it?
Well, if you know the answer, would you be willing to share it?
Um,
You don't have to.
my resistance that's coming up right now is I'm really curious about taking the test again since it's been about 10 months.
Mhm.
Uh, but then just that whole thinking about it, and I'm resisting you right now. So I bet my
You can
coachable
hear the
skill.
dialogue from the habit itself playing because coachable is being open to anything that would add value to my life. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm wanting to add value to your life, and it's not wanting to be exposed. That's interesting. You don't need to tell me, but just be open to hearing the dialogue.
I do. I am. Uh,
I wish all of us could be more comfortable having a round robin. We're sit around a table or in a circle, excuse me. And if we all confessed our greatest fear, for the most part, we'd be surprised at a lack of originality. But you're afraid of that? I thought I was the only one afraid of that. Yeah. If we weren't, we would just be diving in every day and making it happen. If we're not diving in every day and making it happen, setting a goal and working on the millimeters and actually accomplishing and building and growing, and every month we have more income and more frontline volume and more clients and more coach. If that's not happening, then there's something we're afraid of.
mm,
It could be I pushed so hard for so long and I got so burned out. I just don't want to ever get burned out again. It could be that kind of a fear. I put my foot on the gas pedal for so long when I took it off, I just can't push it back down again for fear of where it's going to take me. Can you feel that? Those are the fears we're talking about. It could be just a burnout fear. It could be fear of talking to people. It could be fear of someone perceiving you as a salesperson. I dealt with, I think there's some people here on the call tonight. I had to work through Susan being the CEO of the Augmandino Leadership Institute and a best-selling author, traveling the world speaking. Why would I be doing this? Am I in trouble? Dave, what are you doing that for? Well, I reestablished that Monday in a live. Why I'm here is not because I failed somewhere. This is the next step up in what I'm doing with my life. That's an interesting piece, but I had to work through that myself. So we all just get to start looking at because this stuck measurement is happening so often, especially with coaches. So we look at how are we using our vivid visualization? Are we in catastrophe fantasy, creating expectations? Are we afraid of something? Are we just in resistance to someone controlling us? We're not ready to surrender and be, the word is humble and teachable. Humble comes from the root word humus, which is the dark, rich soil on the earth, to be planted in the dark, rich soil of the earth in order to ripen, to grow. We're not willing to be planted in that soil because that makes us less than. But that's where things grow. So have some fun with that measurement. Tina, jump out here.
Am I unmuted?
You're off mute.
Okay. Um, Under the stuck, we're going through, friends and I and my coach and stuff are going through the Atomic Habits book,
Mm-hmm.
and we just read the chapter of boredom.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can think of is, obviously I've been on the program since 2022, and I lost to Wonderland, and then I gained 70 or 80 pounds. I've said my story before. But for some reason, even with my amazing coach, I continue. Why does this? I continue to be stuck. And looking at my um, Habitfinder thing, I'm red in perfection, fantastical, stuck, and hesitant, and resilient.
Is resilient over to overwhelmed?
Actually, I'm show green on resilient.
Okay. And steadfast is where? Is it green?
No, it's hesitant.
Okay, so we've got hesitant, and coachable, stuck. Anything else? You said
I'm
perfection.
fantastical and perfection.
Okay. You want to have some fun with this? Can we all dive into this for a minute? Is that okay? But by the way, is this helping? Because when we're dealing with brand new people, we've got to walk through this a line at a time. We get to dive kind of deep tonight, which is fun because that helps you get a little clearer about your own thought processes. So, Tina, where did you go? You were right there. Oh, there you are. Okay. So, Tina, let's start with this one. Perfection. Now, question for you. Was there ever a voice in your life, mother, father, priest, no matter what you did, it was not quite good enough?
Yeah, that's my mom.
That's your mom. Okay.
Hmm.
Because your mom says that for enough years, eventually it becomes your own habit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and I kind of did that to my kids too.
Hmm, how's that working?
Not very good.
Mhm. And in terms of a health journey, the greatest risk is that it will never be perfect.
Right, but then when we talk, like we were, I showed my bag when we talk about the ice cream. I can bypass the ice cream in the store, but I have an addictive personality, and I was at church one day and forgot my fueling, and so the well-meaning people brought me in, and we have all these different things we can have before church, and they introduced me to unsalted mixed nuts at Costco, and yeah, I'll sit and eat the whole bag instead of my little 1 ounce that I'm supposed to have.
Yep. Yep. And then the perfectionist voice does what?
I messed up, so I might as well mess up again.
Yeah. What's the use? Is it processes, Tina, systemically, which means all or nothing, right or wrong, win or lose, life or death. There is no Pantone grayscale, Pantone color schedule, grayscale. It's either or. You are either perfect or you are nothing.
Correct. I've been that way my whole life. Yes.
Right, wrong, win, lose, life, death, all, nothing.
I'm either eating healthy or totally eating
Totally easy.
crazy bad.
And you just stepped in and saw the enemy right there. So now you know part of the reason why you've struggled on program. Now, that's this whole area. So you know, is these are all six of these are systemic thoughts. All, nothing, right, wrong, win, lose, life, death. I want to or I don't want to. There's nothing in between. It's either doing it with excellence, perfection. So it's perfection or nothing. Fantastical. Now you compound this a little bit further by going into the future and imagining what it's going to be like when you get there. And not only do you feel the norepinephrine and dopamine, that euphoric feeling, and you get all excited about this possibility, it creates a mental construct, an expectation, a concrete condition for happiness. And not only do you hold life hostage to it, it has to happen exactly the way you saw it in your mind because it's all or what?
Nothing.
Nothing. How often does life happen differently than you want it to? Can you
I
think?
only I only chuckle because right now I'm in the midst, like I said, life just happened to me, and just when I think uh, I have like I just had surgery, so I had 6 weeks of healing, but
Mhm.
instead I decided I'd have 6 weeks of taking care of newborn kitty cats that have to be fed every 2 hours. So all through the night. So yeah, without me being tired and stuff, it's also kind of hard to stay on plan.
Yeah. But now you know why. What would be different if you brought in this habit of thinking, excellence, and it said, okay, I'm really feeling hungry tonight. I can have 1,000 calorie bowl of ice cream, or I could have a chocolate brownie ascend bar. It's 200 grams of 200, uh, I mean, well, we had trouble getting it out. Uh,
Calories.
Calories, thank you. It's 200 calories, but it's one-fifth a bowl of ice cream. And the 200 calories have a beautiful balance of healthy fats, low carb, low glycemic carbs, and healthy proteins. And it also has some probiotics and all kinds of fun stuff in here. So you look at that and go, okay, fiber. Oh, there's fiber too, which is really good for your digestive system. Excellence is to eat that bar instead of a bowl of ice cream. But if you're in perfectionism, you can't even consider possibilities. It's all or
Nothing.
nothing. In other words, we want to learn how to step above the systemic thought, all or nothing. Step back and go, from a practical standpoint, I can think of something that would be good. It won't be the best, but it'll be good. And do that and feel good about that and continue on the program. Imagine if you were living in excellence. Imagine if you were using your gift of vivid visualization not to go into the future or worry about the past. You're just getting inspiration about the next millimeter in your life, next millimeter between here and where you want to be. If that's a millimeter is a loss of a pound, if it's the creation of a dollar, whatever it might be. But you get an inspired idea about how to execute it, ignites passion, drives the action, you create it, and you get to celebrate. Now watch my hands. The next day, the next millimeter, the next day, the next millimeter. Which direction am I going? I am going toward the creation of my dream. What would be like if you lived more intentionally, coachable? You were totally open to anything that would add value to your life, period. Steadfast is hesitant. You made the decision to make decisions and stick to them. To decide is to cut off options. I'm just going to decide and cut off the option. What would life be different if this were in the green? Now, getting there is a trip, it's a journey. But if we keep allowing this to be here while we're trying to lose weight and get healthy, we are fighting an unwinnable battle. It can't be sustained. So we get to work on these habits of thinking. That's why August 7th, we're going to start working on these habits of thinking, and very specifically in terms of how it's impacting a health journey, so that we can start having that health journey be a little easier and a little bit more fun, which means we're most likely going to stick to it a little bit longer and better. If we don't work on this piece, I think we're in trouble. You said 2022. How much weight do you want to lose right now today to get to your weight that you want to be at?
Well, I want to get back in Wonderland even. I mean, I know I need to be way down in Wonderland, but I'd like to get to Wonderland again. And that's what's discouraging is the fact that, like I said, I found the weight faster than I lost it. But I
Hmm.
mean, it's been my yo-yo. That's what I've been doing my whole life.
Yeah. And now you know why.
My all or nothing.
All or nothing systemic thought processes drive that a lot. Now you go from these thought processes. Anybody else? We're going to step into, okay, now how's life showing up? It'll be interesting, Tina, for us to pull up your assessment even and take a look at it if you wouldn't mind. Would that be
Uh,
okay?
that's fine.
That'd be okay? Okay, let me stop the share and I will go find it really quickly. I love on Monday night when Dr. A was speaking and he talked about the fact that this is work.
Uh,
I just love that because it is. And if we're willing to take on the work, and that's these habits of thinking and habits of health, we actually can start winning this battle because otherwise we will lose the weight and we will suffer to lose it. But you can't sustain that long term. You can't sustain the willpower that it takes to keep grinding. You want to change what's causing the grind. Otherwise, we're going to grind and get there, but you can't stay there. You're going to still go back and eat the food that anesthetizes the pain, and then you just put it back on. It's not that I lost it and I found it and I lost it and I found it. It's that I could grind long enough to lose it, but still having the same habits of thinking, the same pain. My brain is going to now help me feel better by eating, and my eating puts the weight back on. Now, this is actually really good. This is your life. Where are the pressure points? Joyful. It just says that life keeps showing up differently than you want it to. You have a habit that's very impatient, just wants it to happen now. I want to get to Wonderland next week. And lastly, it's just a little bit disillusioned with what it's actually going to take to get there. Here's where you are, Tina. Here's where it wants to be. And it can't figure out how to get this place from here to here. It's disillusioned with what it's going to take. My coach said, we'll just be on program and we'll lose the weight. Well, it's be on program, then stay on program while we're changing our habits of thinking and our habits of health, transitioning out, yes. But it sounded differently than the reality of what it's been taking. I go, okay. It's just frustrated, doesn't know how to do it. It's impatient, it wants it done quickly. And it's a little just a little frustrated every time it shows up differently than you want it to. Hmm. And then you get to beat yourself up, question your worth, hate your body, and yield to other people who need to be right. There's some beautiful things in here, by the way. But that's the pattern. I just got an idea. Thank you. Thanks for letting us do that. We're not going to solve the problems tonight. Just feel that. All that right, wrong thinking creates that anxiety. Then I get into tangible reality and I'm impatient and disillusioned and unhappy. So I eat to feel better. Then I beat myself up for eating. That cycle sound familiar?
Yep.
Yep, let's break out of this. It's time to break out of this. We pay the price to change these actual habits of thinking. This isn't like a seminar you go to and you feel good about it. This is learning how to, in a moment, a given moment, you're faced with an option and choosing to think differently. And doing it enough times that the brain creates a new neural pathway, a new habit, and it will prune off that bad habit, and you'll wake up and you just won't feel the same way. Happier than you ever imagined possible in this world of strife and sorrow. That's what we actually want to do, is shift the habit of thinking. We can go through all the motions, but if we don't change the habit of thinking in the moment, I want to give you some tools so you'll be able to do that. You say, wow, that's hard. Yeah, you're actually changing a neural pathway in your brain. It's less painful than having a surgeon go in and start cutting stuff out, right?
Right.
This is something that can actually be done. And absent this challenge is never going to go away. Some people, frankly, Tina, go at that point and go, then I just give up. I'm just going to be fat the rest of my life. And they start putting on more and more and more weight and they die early. That's tragic. You've been here since 2022. You've got a lot more oomph inside you than that. Hey, you keep pushing. Okay. Now let's take the edges off so it's a little bit more fun to do that. You up for that?
Sure.
Okay. Now I want to just open this up. We just did something interesting. Anybody here want to take a journey through their assessment? Anybody else? Sharon, you want to do that? Jerry? Brian?
Sure. Did you say Sharon?
Yeah, Sharon, that'd be
Absolutely.
great.
I don't
Then
know if I was just Sharon.
let me pull it up. We can do this because we have so few here tonight that we can actually just do this with several people. This is kind of fun. Sharon, there you are. Okay. Now, several of you are going to realize that Sharon's got a lot of the same habits of thinking you may have. So doing this a couple times is actually going to serve everybody. Sharon, here's your mental creation. If you looked at these as six people sitting around the table with you, you're sitting at a table right now, there are six people sitting at the table. They all look just like you. They sound like you. Self-directed, pretty clear. Excellence, the next one down the table, pretty clear. The next one's like, wow, got tremendous vivid visualization. When you surrender to that habit of thinking, do you go into fantasy or catastrophe? Which one is you most likely to go into?
Oh, oops, I can see both. Catastrophe, thinking the worst thing that could happen,
Mm-hmm.
and fantasy, just like, wow, that's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see both.
Are you a
I don't
coach?
know what, yes.
Okay. Have you ever gone to a meeting, got so pumped up and so excited about possibilities, and the next morning you wake up and you can't even remember what the first thing you need to do? Does that sound at all
Yep.
familiar?
Yep. Don't know where to start.
It was clear yesterday. You're in the meeting.
Hmm.
You're going to be in a meeting Saturday. This Saturday, as you're listening to all the speakers, write down the action step you're going to take on Monday. Write down the action step so it's really clear on a piece of paper for you. Because this habit of thinking at this level wants you to go to the meeting, and then while you're driving home, it wants you to, I'll just have some fun with this, Sharon. It may not be exact, but I want you to play with this. it can start to imagine your business being successful and you having $5,000 a month of income. If you had an extra $5,000 a month, what would you do with it? If it's uncomfortable, you don't need to go there, but this thought process goes there. It's going to start imagining what's possible. And it's going to find out very quickly that five is not enough to really solve the problem, so it's going to go to 10. Not how you're going to create it, how you're going to spend it. This is when we get in trouble as a coach. Well, we say we're about the people, but privately, when we have this measurement, there's a very good chance we're going to go into what we're going to do with the money, even if it's an orphanage we want to make or create. Be aware of this because it's going to go with this measurement. You could go to the heights of heaven in 10 minutes. And it creates a dopamine and norepinephrine rush. That's why it feels so good when you're at that meeting. Go, so excited about this is what I've been looking for all my life. That kind of energy, right? And your mind has created an expectation. The next morning you wake up and it's different than your expectation. And you get to have an autonomic response, activation of your sympathetic nervous system, the release of cortisol, stress hormone, activation of your amygdala, shutting down the energy-rich parts of your brain, empathy, practical judgment, common sense, and renders you emotionally paralyzed. You're at a high risk of being emotionally paralyzed after really exciting meetings. Does that make any sense at all to you?
Yep.
And we can be stuck in that pattern. Now, there's a disconnect between the vision and making the decisions necessary to create it. Steadfast doesn't want you to make the decisions. It wants you to wait. This is the classical, you know, nephew's birthday party, and it's Tuesday night, and the party's Friday night. And this habit does not want you to make the decision to avoid the chocolate cake. I want you to wait till you get there. You ever found yourself getting there and then fighting the chocolate cake and finally giving in and eating the chocolate cake? Ever been in that space before? Does that mean anything to you?
Not recently. A couple years ago,
Okay.
but so to me it's something else.
Okay, let's explore because there's many
It's not
things.
it's
We're in an airplane hangar and I just
yeah.
shine the light in the most common corner. Let me move it over a little bit. Think about your life right now for a moment. Do you have any major decisions that you're trying to make and you don't know which one to make because you don't want to make the wrong decision? Are you facing any challenging life decisions?
Um not really. I mean, I guess potentially like, okay, where do I want to be physically in 5 years, 10 years?
Hmm.
So it's not an immediate thing, but it's like, is
Hmm.
this where I want, need to be, want to be?
And what keeps you from making that commitment? Are you a believer by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay. Does guilt about wanting something that maybe God doesn't want you to want ever play into that equation of making that decision? Do you understand what I mean by that question? Where I really want to be here, but ooh, I really shouldn't want that because that's too materialistic. So I can't make that decision. I don't know what decision to make because I don't want to make the wrong one. I don't want to offend God. I don't want to I
Yeah.
have that one for you to consider.
I can see that. Yes.
I ask that because that's the one I deal with all the time. That's mine. So I just thought I'd
Mhm.
share it with you to
I,
see if you had it. Those are the extreme
mhm.
examples from buying ice cream at the grocery store and deciding to do that or not do that, all the way to more heavy things. What I do know, um, are you married by any chance, Sharon?
Yes.
Okay. Ask your husband on a scale of 1 to 10 how decisive he thinks you are.
Okay.
10 being very decisive, 2 or 3 being just not sure. Explore that just a little bit. You want to find out where this one's showing up. Excuse me. It's just avoiding really important decisions because it just doesn't want to make the wrong decision. So find out where that's showing up. Is it in the health journey? Is it in our finances? Is it in your retirement? Is it in relationships? Is it just start going through each one of those till you can see where it's showing up?
I I could potentially see it being decision to get rid of something.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Like, well, this was so and so's, and should I get rid of it? Just like I could see that because,
You ever hang on to things?
yeah.
I've shared this story about losing a lot of weight and having an entire wardrobe for every clothing size in my closet. And Ramona asking me if we could clean it out, and I was hesitant. I didn't want to do
Hmm.
that. We finally did it one night, and I found out the next day I'm on a bicycle. I remember a third grade experience in third grade, standing in the recess, bawling my eyes out because I'd just been rejected by the cool kids because I didn't have Keds, Gold Cup socks, Levi jeans, and a cool t-shirt. I had all off brands and I had a hole in my left knee with a big patch on it. I realized I didn't want to let go of my clothes because they were a safety net against poverty. It sounds silly now, but when
Hmm.
you're having challenge letting go of something, go a little deeper into why it's you're hesitating to let it go. Because you might say, well, I don't really need that. Why do I hang on to that? Ooh, there's probably something in there. And that may be a place for you to look. Are you indecisive about what you're going to let go of? Then you want to explore why are you hanging on to it? Have some fun with that. It's just red, so it's really an important one to take a look at. Because we know that there's expectations being created because they're not being met. Ouch. This is personal fulfillment. This habit wants you to be a little impatient, just wants it to happen faster. This one's interesting. It wants you to run around like a chicken with your head cut off. Busy, 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 but not really ever moving your business forward. And this pragmatic measurement's disillusioned with what it's going to take to actually get it built. How long have you been a coach?
Um, a, a year.
Okay. If you're comfortable answering this, what is your current rank as a coach?
Senior coach.
Okay. Can you feel it? That's not where you thought you'd be. Where did you want to be at a year? What were you hoping?
I didn't really have that vision.
Okay. Did you have a vision? Because a year at senior coach is really dedicated to just hang in there at senior coach. It's like I'm hoping I can find out what it's going to take to get to the next level. Do you have a next level in mind?
Not not specifically.
I don't want to embarrass you, Sharon. I want to be really careful here because I'm asking you some
Mhm.
deeply personal questions. No question about that. But this is something
Oh,
to explore. Why am I having
Mhm.
trouble making the decision to do what's necessary to get to the next rank? What am I saying to myself? What is holding me back? Because there's something here that's creating disillusionment. And we go to self-worth, see what impact it's having on us. Oh, Susan, you see this score in self-esteem, self-worth? I see that 1 out of 250 people. You've got very, very clear self-worth. That's not where any pain's coming from. The pain you're going to want to find is from an unmet expectation, which creates that impatience, that frenetic energy, that disillusionment from the hesitation to make the commitment to decide what it is I want and go create it. Yet, fantastically, I've seen it. Hmm. I just took you to a pretty deep place. I don't want to rattle you tonight. I just want you to be okay. These are just habits of thinking.
Mhm.
But can you imagine being free of them and waking up tomorrow morning and just taking on your coaching practice and calling people and setting up health assessments and helping people get on program and walking by their side and helping them become a coach and training them to do that and you're building this business. You feel that?
Yeah.
You have the self-worth of somebody who can do that at a very high level once you let go of a couple of these habits of thinking.
That'd
Most
be wonderful to wake up like that.
Yeah. Most people are so tortured internally about their worth and worthiness and their ability and their body and their character and the value of their contribution. And it's so deafening, it's hard to actually show up. You're so clear in that area, it's going to be easy for you to show up. Once you find out what it is you've been afraid to do and fight through that thought process and just start making the decisions and executing, you could be an amazing coach because you've got the thought process that could make you totally available to serve another person because it doesn't need to be about you. Right now, that the frustration is the process. How do I get there?
Yeah.
It's not you. You, hmm, I can feel a little emotion. Yeah, share with me what you're thinking.
Just that I have a lot of potential.
Oh my goodness. Don't beat yourself up for that. It's just waiting for you to get some of the processes in place, to learn how to use your gift of vivid visualization in a way that ignites your passion, to be able to make some tough decisions and then stick to them and do what's required, to live present in the now instead of holding life hostage, live here and create in the millimeters. When you make those shifts, you're a rocket ship waiting to happen. And I think deep down inside you know that. It's just been, I don't know why. What is it? Well, I just explained what it is. You've got an enormous gift to vividly visualize. We're going to want to learn how to use that to ignite your passion, then make decisions to take the action, live present in the now in millimeters, and you got the self-worth to carry that. Yeah, you go to bed tonight knowing what you have felt is true. You, you can't have that kind of clarity and not feel it. You know. Let me help you with the process. Get in the August 7th class because we're going to take on vivid visualization and making those decisions first. That's where we start. Okay.
Yep. I'm registered.
Well, now I know why I felt impressed to call on you. So there you go. I hope that served you tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody sitting back going, oh, I wish you'd review mine? We've got like 4 or 5 minutes. We could do that. Does anybody want me to take you through yours? Anybody courageous? Just raise your hand and go, me. Okay, Tanny. Woohoo.
Hi, Dave.
Morning,
Okay,
Tanny.
so it's been a while since I took my habit finder, but since we, like you said, we have a small intimate group, I want to take advantage of the last few minutes that you have to just take a look at mine.
Okay, let's do it.
So I need to go to mine as well, right? Is that pull up my habit finder as well?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. I'm going to go with the January 13th version.
Yeah, that's actually right before I came to see you.
Okay, great. Okay, let me share my screen. Oh,
Oh,
A1 score in mental creation is very powerful. You also have an extremely powerful and potentially destructive habit of thinking. Is your husband aware of your perfectionism?
oh, he's right here. John, do you want to answer that? He's laughing. What does
Laughing.
that say? Yeah.
Good. That's good. Yeah, this is that we had that conversation earlier with Tina about right, wrong, win, lose, life, death, all, nothing, that very systemic kind of thinking. And perfectionism is not only right, wrong thinking, it's deeply personal about your performance. This is a driver. If an employer saw this, they go, ooh, yeah, she is going to drive herself. Oh my goodness, this is exciting. I look at it and go, yeah, for a season, then you're going to burn yourself out. You may have even felt that at times. Yeah, it's going to be important for us to learn how to release this. So everything else here is beautiful. Let's see how perfection is impacting your joy. Oh, so it keeps showing up differently than perfect. Impatient, I just want it to be perfect. I could run around like a chicken with my head cut off, and I'm terribly disillusioned about what it's going to take to make it perfect. And we get to say, you and I can step back and have this reality moment. It's an intellectual reality moment. Has there ever been a perfect person on this planet other than deity?
No, I think I just perceive them as perfect and strive to be like them. But probably when I know them, get to know them, behind closed doors, it's not the case.
Yeah. What a great thing to release yourself from this burden because we can't get there. And if we keep being driven by it, here's the secret, Tanny. You'll always be in a little bit of failure. You'll always be a little bit less than. Less than what? Less than something that's impossible to create. Oh, that's most of this will go away once you handle the perfection question. And self-worth, yeah, you got to beat yourself up. Not perfect. Now, your husband's right there, so I can say this to you, and I've been married to my wife for 50 years, but Tanny, you're a very beautiful woman. But isn't it interesting that even then, you got some body issues? Isn't that interesting? Wow.
Yeah.
There's probably some angry women with you having body issues. How could you have body issues? Well, it's, it's not perfect. Perfect based on what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a result, I'm going to sacrifice my time, my energy, and even my well-being to make up for it. to prove I'm okay, and in an attempt to be perfect. It's rarely that we can put a whole assessment and rest it on one measurement. We just did. You know exactly where you want to focus.
Dave, can you help me become less the desire to be perfect? Or I don't say less perfect because I'm not perfect, the desire to be that. How to let that go.
But we're going to start on August 7th with that journey. Until then, one of the great ways to break away from perfection, this is a systemic thought, right, wrong, win, lose, life, death, is to raise a little higher to the next level of mathematics, which is called extrinsic math. Here there is good and gradations of good. It's being able to see possibilities other than all or nothing. Because life is not all or nothing. It is extrinsic. Extrinsic is the tangible reality which we live in. Then, from an intrinsic perspective, the highest level of math, a love for yourself. And I know that you've got a belief, so, and a love for God. Have you watched the last season of The Chosen?
Not yet. Trying to think. No.
You'll want to go do that, especially the very last episode. I'm sharing this with you. Not everybody on this call may believe what you and I believe. That's okay. I don't want to offend anyone. Just speaking to you personally, go see the price that was paid. Because you're not perfect and you won't be, but you could be perfected in. But there's a humility that comes with this, a willingness to surrender to that grace, to that atonement, to be grateful for. Now we can grow. It's where the rubber meets the road in your faith because you're trying to do it by yourself. But we're saying, well, I want to do the best I can. No, no matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough. Well, so stop ruining your life to get there and acknowledge that there's already been a price paid to make up the difference so that you can start living life, finding joy in the journey and peace of mind, and getting to the end of the day and saying, I've done all I can do today. Would you soften hearts and prepare the way while I sleep? Hand off the baton, let him do his work at night while you sleep. Create a partnership that's alive and real. My peace I give unto you. It's a different kind of peace. It surpasseth all understanding, but it requires a submission to and an acknowledgement of. Just feel that. What it would be like to finally not relax, not be easy, just stop that pursuit and now begin to live life and serve people and love people, and you're going to make mistakes and you don't get to beat yourself up for them anymore because they're paid for. It's really the rubber meets the road in your faith at the intersection of perfection. That's enough for tonight. I'll go deeper when we get into class, okay?
Thank you.
I wanted to share that with you personally. So, okay, everyone. Wow. I hope this served. We have kind of a tight little group here tonight to be able to go deep into each person's, either vicariously as somebody else was being reviewed, or literally for some of you. And hope this was helpful. We're going to do one more debrief on the 29th. Uh, your coaches, some of your clients, coaches, get your clients here so that they can get into that August 7th class. because I'm coming with a new level of commitment to work on these habits of thinking so that we can have this journey, especially the health part, be a little bit more fun and rewarding. And the building of a business as a coach, a little less complicated. Okay, everyone, thanks for your time tonight. Blessings to all of you. We'll see you soon. Okay, good night.